My House, My Castle, proudly brought to you by Godfrey Hirst Carpets.
Godfrey Hirst Carpets, made in New Zealand, enjoyed all over the world.
Tonight on The Inspectors, Eric uncovers a curry house with some serious sanitation issues.
You can't wash dishes at 27 degrees.
A deadly chemical spill creates a severe threat to the environment.
If it hit any freshwater fish, they'd be dead straight away.
And Malcolm meets a hoarder with an out-of-control obsession.
Oh, heck! Where does it stop?
Retired engineer Gordon is an inventive character, spending his days designing weird and wonderful contraptions from old scraps salvaged over the years. Riding high on his converted lawnmower, the noise is enough to rattle the neighbours.
What do you think of that?
But it's not the racket that's causing complaints. It's the giant mountain of junk engulfing his estate.
The organic collections came on, and that was like a gold mine, you know. You sort of drive down the road, you think, oh, look at that, you know, you run back.
Over the years, Gordon's hobby has become his obsession.
Most people sort of see it as a heap of junk, you know, but I don't see it for what it is, I see it for what it can be, you know.
Today, the problem's so bad, his boundary fences are about to burst, and the neighbours aren't happy.
Several people around here have been selling their houses, and prospective buyers have been concerned when they've seen piles of things over there. Is there problems with it, or, you know, what does he do? Is he a funny person? And we say, no, he's a guy with a heart of gold, but he's just got this thing about collecting.
Responding to the complaints, North Shore City Council officer Malcolm Denmead is heading out to suss out the situation.
We don't get many complaints about this owner, but we're trying to be a bit more proactive before maybe he gets sick or an accident happens to him.
Gordon's not alone in his habits. Obsessive-compulsive behaviour affects 2% of the population, and hoarding is one of the most common.
I think hoarders hoard because of possibly some catastrophe in their life where they may have lost a family member. And as they get older, they just can't get out of it until finally neighbours or a family member becomes concerned and then involves the authorities on the issue.
Across town in Penrose, the emergency services have been called in for a clean-up of a far different kind. Fire crews are grappling with a mystery chemical spill on one of the city's busiest intersections.
The whole problem is that we don't know what it is. We still don't know what it is. Whoever dropped this load has taken off.
An unidentified toxin creates a serious public health threat, as some chemicals could emit lethal gases and potentially even cause an explosion. The teams must be prepared for anything.
This will probably be one of the major ones we've come to, but we've got to clear as most of it away as we can. That's why we've got such a big crew here.
Flushing it off the road is a fast solution, but could pollute the waterways and kill the marine life. It's up to Pollution Response Officer Angela Mason to ensure the least amount of damage is done.
It sounds like it's gone to stormwater, so what our first protocol will be to check if it's got to the environment, and if it has, go and deal with that and try and lessen any damage that's occurred there and minimise it.
Morning, Gordon. Hi. How's things? All right? What the heck's this?
Back in Torbay, Gordon is in full inventive swing, but his creative engineering and overrun scrap collection are the reason for Malcolm's visit.
The odd little complaints come into us.
Yeah, land agents and people trying to sell the houses.
Right, yes, exactly.
Well, my son and son-in-law came around the other week. We took 3 truckloads away to the scrap people. I didn't give anything for it, but it didn't cost me anything to get rid of it, so,
yes,
which was a big
yes,
plus as far as I was concerned, you know.
Well, my job really is going to be to monitor you over probably the next 6 months or more. Just keep a little bit of pressure there so that that momentum continues, all right?
It's good news as Gordon started the clear-up already. But as Malcolm gets a closer look inside, the size of the problem sinks in.
So this is just a small part of your property?
Yeah.
And the material you've been collecting for, what, 30-odd years, is it? Have you collecting?
We've been here over 30 years. I only did it sort of in anger since I retired about 14 years ago.
Right. Do you know what's in here? Do you really know what's in here?
Yeah, well, you know.
Every inch of Gordon's quarter-acre property is covered in junk.
Careful where we walk.
I bought this garage in a garage sale.
This whole thing?
Yeah.
What was the intent of that?
Well, that was some sort of project for me retirement, you know, sort of something to work in and, you know.
Yes, and now you can't work in it.
Well, it's full of junk now.
Yes.
Even the vines and creepers seem reluctant to let go of the scrap.
No lawns to mow here, Gordon?
No,
no lawns to mow. Plenty of lawn mowers, but no lawns.
I haven't mowed a lawn in 30 years.
Yes.
Gordon may see the bright side, but his home is a potential danger zone, with unfinished DIY decks and leaning towers of junk all around. For Malcolm, it'll be a difficult task ahead, trying to encourage the clean-up whilst respecting Gordon's right to live as he wants.
So the idea is to move down here, then take this away.
Yeah, that's full of stuff.
Take this away and just keep going that way.
Keep it, yeah.
Is there much material, scrap stuff actually undercover at all, or is that just mostly your machinery?
Well, there's a boat under here, you wouldn't believe it.
No, there's a boat.
Just when Malcolm thought he'd seen the worst of it...
Oh, heck! That's solid.
I used to be able to put my finger on anything, but now it's got the stage where...
You don't know where it is. So I can see the benefit now of clearing this area first, then be able to get in here, get it out.
Get rid of the cars as well.
How did you get this car up here even? Did it, I mean... Oh, Gordon, where does it stop?
Ditching 15 years' worth of treasure won't be easy for a compulsive hoarder like Gordon, but Malcolm has a good starting point.
Can you promise once you see inorganic collections that you're not going out and bringing stuff back?
Look the other way.
Okay, look the other way. Yes.
I can see potential in nearly anything, you know. I can say, oh, gee, I can do that. And then about 5 years later, I've still got there now. I haven't done it.
Yes. So just curtail...
I realise now that I'm getting too old to be so... I'll have to live to about 120 to even scratch the surface, you know.
It may take time, but if Gordon doesn't comply, Malcolm has the power to serve him a cleansing notice and instruct commercial cleaners to clear up for him. His neighbours aren't hopeful.
I think it will be an issue for him clearing up, yeah, because I think it's his treasures. It's like asking you to give away your dog or your cat. Regardless of the fact they're only bits of junk to us, they're precious to him.
It's a disease, you can't stop it. You can't, it's just, you know, you got to do something. I mean, other people collect all sorts of things, or they go to football, or I'm not interested in sports, so this is what I do, you know.
Just north of Auckland lies the district of Rodney. It may look green, but it's not all clean. Council Inspector Eric Donald is on a grime-busting mission around the local eateries. And today he's off to the Curry Leaf Indian restaurant.
Hello, how are you, Bowman?
Very good, Eric. How are you?
All right.
How are you, Eric?
Good to see you again. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're going to do the grading inspection today. Now, you've only got a B.
It's not a problem.
So hopefully we get an A this time. Yeah.
Manager Bowman has aspirations of achieving the fabled A grade. He's hoping today is the day.
Hello. Hello. How are you today?
In the kitchen, the chefs are in full swing, giving Eric the perfect opportunity to examine their food practices.
This is traditional Indian cooking. They've cooked this during the day. When they get an order, the food is heated up properly. If you drop your temperature below 60 degrees, then there is a risk of food poisoning. The reason for that is you get various spore-forming bacteria, Clostridium and Bacillus. They'll be a problem.
Nasties like bacillus commonly occur from contaminated rice, meat and poultry and can cause severe nausea and vomiting.
65. Good.
The premise passes their first temperature check. Time for the next test.
The dishwasher ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's vital the machine reaches sufficient sterilisation temperatures, otherwise deadly pathogens can be transferred.
When a person that might have tuberculosis eats here, you've got to make sure that the germs aren't passed on to other people. and 77 degrees is the temperature which will destroy TB. 20 degrees, it's hardly even warm. How long you had this machine? 2 years. 2 years,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Well, I'll wait for it to come up to heat. I think we'll carry on and do something else.
It's not a good start for the curry leaf, and as Eric moves on to the storeroom, manager Bowman's A grade looks further and further away.
This one hasn't got a cover. You can get moths in there, insects, contamination. So that's a demerit.
Back at the Penrose chemical spill, Pollution Response Officer Angela is straight into environment protection mode.
No, they know what they're doing, they know what they need to get it cleaned up, and just to make sure that there's no discharge, you know, that it doesn't go over, so that if they need to slow down...
We're going to put a big truck down the bottom.
There, yep.
And then you just got to go for it.
Cool. Okay.
All right.
The toxin still hasn't been identified, but the specialist sucker trucks must go ahead and hoover up all they can to clear the traffic congestion.
We want to get it off the road and get the road running as quick as we can. And what we'll do is we'll just coordinate with the sucking, you know, when any of this go down the drain.
If you look in the cesspit, there's a pipe that goes out, and that's where it goes straight to a stream. So if the sucker truck's fast enough, it can keep up with the water and stop it going to an outfall. It's a good catch pit. It's a good place to catch the water and stop any discharge.
Angela must ensure there's no other threat of contamination elsewhere along the road.
Is there some going into the cesspit down there?
No.
You've dammed it?
Yeah, that's been dammed at the moment.
But you're making sure there's no overflow?
Yeah.
So otherwise it needs to stop
No.
straight away.
With the clean-up costs already reaching $10,000, it's up to Angela to trace the culprit to pay the price. But it'll be a race against time to determine what the chemical is before all her leads are flushed down the drain. Across at the curry leaf, Eric's in the chiller.
Everything's in containers, that's good.
He's on the lookout for correct storage temperatures.
At 2.8 degrees, that's quite good.
If above 4 degrees, deadly bacteria can multiply, adding to New Zealand's woes of having the highest food poisoning rate in the developed world.
Bit of food spilt on here, bit of cleaning necessary in here. It's not too bad.
Although the chiller reaches the right temperatures, the dishwasher still looks dubious.
So it's dropped to 27 degrees. Hopeless. You can't wash dishes at 27 degrees. Having problems with your dishwasher. It's rinsing at the right temperature, but the wash cycle is quite low. Now, do you know why this is happening at all?
I'm not sure.
No. Okay, well, I think you're going to have to get someone in to have a look at it.
A disappointing setback for the curry leaf. The chances of securing the council's highest A grade now look slim.
Thank you, Bowman. We'll see you next time.
The inspection's over, and Eric now needs to evaluate their results.
I'm not prepared to give him an A. He's going to have to be content with a B. He will be able to apply for a reassessment after he's had the dishwasher repaired.
On the North Shore, Malcolm's back to check if his clean-up message has got through to Gordon.
Oh, this is all new. I think these bags of dirt, this is all new. There's certainly nothing being taken from here lately. No.
Malcolm's not impressed.
We're looking at this side because this is a visual side first from the street. So if we can get this cleaned up, that'll satisfy a few neighbours too. So let's see whether Gordon's home. You there, Gordon? Right, Gordon's not home, so I'm going to be leaving a note in his letterbox to say that I've been here, that nothing apparent has moved from his property.
For Gordon's neighbour, this comes as no surprise.
A few years ago, he was asked by several people, could he please clean his act up because it was getting encroaching on the street and everything. And everyone was afraid of four-leggeds walking out. And he said, oh yeah, I'll clear it all up. So he goes off clearing it up. Every time he took a load away, he'd get waylaid by something and he'd come back with a different load on his truck.
This is important because we're trying to get Gordon to clean up his driveway and beside the neighbouring boundary fence, and now he's putting more material here on the driveway. And this could sit here indefinitely.
Gordon's had a lucky escape with a warning, but there'll be big trouble ahead if things don't change.
I'm going to be a fairly regular visitor to this property, but that's the only way of keeping the pressure on Gordon to do some work.
Over in Penrose, the traffic is banked up and frustration levels are rising. But Angela's made headway in identifying the spilt chemical.
It looks like a PVA, but it's a lot stronger than a PVA and it's water soluble. That's about all we know.
If her suspicions are correct, they're dealing with a toxic type of glue, which, if leaked into the waterways, could suffocate the stream life. But it's not as deadly as some chemicals, such as concrete.
It's alkali, it's like a bleach, and that just kills freshwater fish straight away. If it hit any freshwater fish, they'd be dead straight away.
It's a heavy price to pay for the actions of a careless truckie not taking care of their load. And if the culprit can't be found, the taxpayers will be footing the $10,000 clean-up costs.
I doubt that we will find the culprits in this case because the witnesses didn't get any registration plates, or if they had, it would be a simple case of tracing them and tracking down who it was. But I'll talk to the police after we've got this sorted out and find out if they've got any more information.